Uh-oh.
And I'm sure Ellie Scottney would be the preferred option because that fight's been building for some time.
Definitely, of course. So the ideal result for me in November will be Ellie Scottney to win that last belt, become undisputed, and then I become her mandatory in December and we can get that fight on early in 2026. That for me is the ideal situation. So that's what I'm kind of manifesting happens at this moment. But if Rosquero comes through, then it's still an undisputed fight for me waiting on the other side. So either way, very exciting. But that being said as well, I'm going to be in a big fight in December to be in that position as well. So my focus is going to be completely on December, obviously keeping one eye on the undisputed fight in November and then all guns blazing going into 2026.
Skye Nicholson is now hinting at a big fight, which she describes as a big fight she's supposed to be having before this year is out in December. Coincidentally, her countryman, Jayo Pataya, is supposed to be back around that same time. Are both fighters going to be returning on the same show? Going to assume she's going to come back on his card, sporting a professional record of 14 wins with 1 loss, no draws, 3 knockouts, having never been knocked out in 15 professional bouts, currently on a 2-fight winning streak after having dropped a decision to Tiara Brown in March of this year. This upcoming fight that she's supposed to have will be her 4th fight of this year. She loses to Tiara in March, rebounds off the loss in July, has a quick turnaround in August, and she's scheduled to have 1 more fight before this year is out, presumably an eliminator of some kind. I'm going to assume it's an IBF final eliminator since Skye is already ranked at number 1 with them. Ranked at number 2 is Micaiah Krebs, but I don't get the sense Skye will be fighting her because Micaiah has a fight coming up. Don't think it's going to be Micaiah. It could be former WBO champion of France, Sigolene Lafarve, who's ranked at number 3, or former champion of Mexico, Erica Cruz, who's ranked at number 4. When you talk about a big fight of some significance, a fight of some consequence, I would think it's against the champion or a former champion. She's angling for a fight with the winner of Scottney versus Flores that has been officially announced to crown an inaugural undisputed super bantamweight champion, the very first of its kind. If Ellie Scottney wins, and I think she's going to, there's no guarantee that Ellie gives Skye the time of day. There's not that much in it for her. Rolling the dice with Skye? Skye is a more familiar face and a more familiar name than most other fighters at this weight, so there is that to consider, but that aside, Ellie might move up right after that, drop all those belts. That is if Ellie Scottney wins. If Mayeli Flores wins, I actually think Skye stands a better chance of landing that undisputed title fight, but Mayeli is a hard-nosed slugger, a tough Mexican fighter that's going to throw punches and bunches from the opening round to the final round. She's a pressure fighter, and you know what usually happens when you put a pressure fighter in there with a finesse fighting pure boxer. You know how it usually goes. Pure boxer succumbs to the pressure. That's what usually happens. So even if she stands a better chance of fighting Mayeli than she does Ellie, if Mayeli wins, it's no walk in the park. You know, this is why I said that Skye Nicholson stands a better chance of becoming a 2-time champion if she stays at feather than if she moves down to super bantam. Super bantam is a lot deeper division than feather. It's a lot harder to get a title there because the talent pool is that much deeper, whereas staying at feather, she could have fought in a few IBF eliminators and became the mandatory for Nina Menka, who's out recovering from spinal surgery right now. And that would have been a much safer route to an alphabet title than what she is endeavoring to do at Super Bantam. And while I don't begrudge Skye Nicholson her ambition, that's just saying that I don't really like her chances. It's a lot harder to win a belt at 122 than it is right now at 126, but that's her trajectory. This is what she's doing. She's angling for a fight with the winner of Scottney versus Flores. All the while, she's set to return one more time before this year is out, and we'll see who it's against. Over to Gervonta Davis's latest tirade on social media that we're going to be covering in several segments. Gervonta said, boxing definitely did a turn. It went from this side to that side, and this shit has no loyalty, so why would I care? I move accordingly. Boxing is dead. To which a Twitter user who goes by the name E_305 responded, please retire them. To which Gervonta Davis himself responded, I am. In 8 weeks. 8 weeks from now, he's gonna have that Jake Paul joke fight, and then he's out of here. Like I've been saying, this is confirmation of what I've been telling you the whole time, while guys like Ak from Ak and Barak postulated that Gervonta Davis could always fight Shakur Stevenson afterwards. What did I tell you? He's not gonna do that. You're not gonna go from a joke fight with Jake where you're getting paid 40 to 50 million to then roll the dice with Shakur. Where the hell is your common sense? Is that what Gervonta Davis has been doing? Rolling the dice and taking on all comers? Ray Jackson, a rather colorful character on boxing Twitter, said, all you've got to do is fight Shakur. To which Gervonta responded, LOL, that's how I know it's hate and jealousy, because you're not even telling me to fight in my rematch, you're telling me to fight someone else when you got hurt and more shit in the fight. But y'all are dick riding his big bro now. Where was this energy 2 to 3 fights again? You are a real lame. You all are. This is how he treats his fans, because that's what Ray Jackson is. He's a Gervonta Davis fan. Ray Jackson responded by saying, you said the rematch wasn't happening next in your post-fight. Did you forget? You told us Shakur was on the hit list 2 years ago. Stand on that shit, dog. To which Gervonta Davis responded, you're a dick eater. Have you checked on Errol recently? Have you asked, does he need anything? Get the fuck out of my mentions. Y'all are like girlfriends. You're only around, but for so long. What did I like in these guys two yesterday, fellas? What did I say? They're like Gervonta Davis's girlfriends, the way he abuses them. And what did he just say? You guys are like girlfriends. Gervonta Davis continued, I don't see you uplifting no fighter when shit's not going their way, not one, but do know how to dick ride when a fighter is winning. To which Ray Jackson responded, I was there uplifting Errol when he had the wreck, when they hit him with a DUI. I was uplifting yo ass when you yoked old girl up at the basketball game. Motherfuckers was calling me a woman beater for supporting yo ass. Get out your feelings, dog. You probably are a woman beater, Ray, which is why you like Gervonta so much. You're probably an alcoholic substance abuser like Errol, which is why you like him so much. Everything you like about these fighters has little to do with their boxing and more to do with who they are outside of the ring. And this is how these pieces of trash thank you for it. Get a whiff of this. Gervonta said, shut the fuck up, bitch. You watched someone beat him when he wasn't at his best, and you switched like the rest. This is how he thanks Ray Jackson for all of his years of support. And by years, I mean years. Night and day defending pieces of shit like Gervonta so that he could get talked down to. Like this. This is how he thanks you for your years and years of patronage, your years and years of support, arguing online, putting a piece of crap like him on a pedestal so he can talk to you like this. And it's no less than you deserve. You and everybody like you. Everybody like you. I don't even know what the appeal is anymore. What is the appeal of being a Gervonta Davis fan? Being a masochist? Being humiliated? Being publicly abused? Talked down to? Because you asked a boxer about a boxing match with another boxer? Is it warranted for Gervonta Davis to fly off the handle like this whenever Shakur Stevenson is mentioned? I think that says a lot. I don't know what any of these grown-ass men get out of being disrespected by Gervonta Davis. An erection, perhaps. Masochists. gluttons for punishment. I saw another young, aspiring content creator that goes by the name The Divine Hook say, stay loyal to yourself, and you're gonna be good. Apparently, she's okay with what Gervonta Davis is doing. She supports him in whatever he does. She is the proverbial abused girlfriend. It's the kind of broad looks past his glaring character flaws so that she can get slapped up in the parking lot of your local Walmart. What exactly are you defending? You presume to be a boxing fan and aspire to make content about the sport of boxing, yet the only reason you support Gervonta has absolutely nothing to do with boxing. Another one of these content creators that wants to be the boxer's friend, that wants to stay on the boxer's good side. All the while, the boxer's taking shots at a dead man. I'm not even kidding either. A few weeks ago, it was announced that a regular on boxing Twitter who goes by the name Nino unfortunately passed away, and Gervonta Davis took it upon himself to take shots at him, saying, "You ride dick. You will never feel me. You watch the fucking show. I'm in it, dickhead. Learn your fucking place. And fuck Nino." Nino is a dead man, Gervonta. Nino isn't here. He's not with us anymore. Didn't anybody ever tell you that it's extremely bad juju to go dancing on graves? What do you expect from a piece of shit like this? Moreover, what do they expect? These idiots, these grown men groveling at the feet, and some women, of a domestic abuser with no redeemable qualities inside or outside of the ring. By all accounts, human garbage. And you know what he did after having a go at his own fans? At his own supporters? He deactivated his Twitter. What a fucking bitch. So here at what seems to be the twilight of Gervonta Davis's career at the ripe old age of 30. Bitch. This is a forecast that took some years to come into fruition. I told you ages ago, he will leave the sport of boxing before he ever fights Vasyl Lomachenko, Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney, and now Shakur Stevenson. Never mind Keyshawn Davis. Another one bites the dust. Another PBC hype job that I was right about. Another one that got exposed. But not under the hot lights. It's different than what happened to Wilder. It's different than what happened to Errol. Gervonta Davis was exposed outside of the ring for not wanting to handle his business inside of the ring. So you can keep your O. Keep your unbeaten record. You're still an embarrassment. Protecting it for years for fear that you might suffer humiliation. You're suffering that humiliation now. Now everybody knows how big a coward you are. Even the people that supported you. Coward. There is no other word for it. This is not how a confident and capable fighter behaves when faced with the challenge of another confident and capable fighter. And isn't that why we tune in? To watch these guys go at it to decide who's the best? What perverse version of boxing have these people been watching? Well, that's what happens when you support a fighter for any other reason than his boxing. You end up getting talked down to. You end up getting disrespected. You end up getting called out of your name. That's what happens when you support a fighter for any other reason than his boxing. Was he supposed to be the ambassador of something? The poster child of some kind of a culture? What culture? Coward culture? Degenerate culture? Domestic abuse culture? What is it that made Gervonta Davis so special to so many that he can barely form a coherent sentence outside of common catchphrases and colloquialisms? That he's draped from head to toe in ugly tattoos and ugly clothes to where you can hardly make out what doodles are drawn on his body? What made him special? That he comes from a poor neighborhood? Newsflash. Most boxers in America and outside of it come from poor neighborhoods. There's nothing unique about that. I ain't even gonna say most. I would say damn near all. You don't get tired of the same old tropes? The tough inner city street kid, that trope blew up in your face. This is my I told you so moment. Some of these airheads care more about Gervonta Davis's bank account for some reason than his boxing. What the hell are you here for? To imagine yourself counting his money? And you know that Gervonta Davis had a go at Shakur Stevenson too for some reason, but it's all much ado about nothing because like I've been telling you, he will never fight him. We'll talk about that in another video.
Is this your kid? Is this your kid?
Over to men's middleweight news, where Conor Benn still wants Mario Barrios after November 15th, uninterested in Lewis Crocker, London, England. Conor Benn will box as a middleweight for the second time in 7 months this November, but then he insists A shot at WBC welterweight champion Mario Barrios will be his primary focus once again. The 28-year-old from Essex suffered the first defeat of his career on April 26th when he dropped a unanimous decision to arch-rival Chris Eubank Jr. in their long-awaited grudge match at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Meanwhile, Mario Barrios successfully defended his WBC title against legend Manny Pacquiao in what was their meeting that ended in a draw.
I mean, that's what makes it successful. That Mario Barrios got to keep his title.
Over to Conor Benn and what was his initial meeting with Chris, the younger man gave away 3.5 pounds to a severely weight-drained Eubank in their first fight and will be the smaller of the two again when they meet for the second time. But once he has attended to his particular piece of business, Ben is planning to box as a welterweight for the first time since his April 2022 win over Chris Van Heerden. There's not a long-term career for me in this weight class, Ben told The Ring in a suite at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium Wednesday night. I'm definitely not a middleweight, and I'll be dropping straight down. We are just over 8 weeks away from fight night, and I'm currently under the middleweight limit right now. I'm weighing about 156 pounds at the moment. I've only gone up so I could get the chance to smash up Eubank, but my business will be at welterweight after that. The newly minted IBF welterweight champion, Lewis Crocker, who stunned Paddy Donovan at Windsor Park to claim the vacant title at the weekend, has been suggested as a potential opponent for Ben by his promoter, Eddie Hearn. Now, Conor wants to follow in his father's footsteps by having a WBC title reign of his own. Crocker ain't the target, he added. Barrios is. His belt has got my name on it. The World Boxing Council title is the belt I want. I will go over to America and beat the champion and bring that belt back with me. I'm not overly concerned about Crocker. He's got a title, but that WBC title is the one that means most to me. I've got it hanging up in my gym already because it was the one my dad won. That belt means everything to me, so now I want my own one to add to our family collection. If Conor can avenge the loss in a few weeks' time, that will be the first time that anyone in the Benn family recorded a win over anyone in the Eubank family. Nigel never got a win over Chris.
Over Senior.
It really doesn't help Conor's plight that Chris Jr. has enlisted the aid of Brian Bomac McIntyre, who he's worked with before and showed good form. It could be that much harder to beat Chris Eubank Jr. in the rematch. Though win, lose, or fall, it doesn't look like Conor plans on staying at middleweight, and I'm not surprised. That's what I've been saying the whole time, questioning whether or not he can get back down to 147 match fit. Because there's making the weight, and then there's making the weight healthy. And Conor hasn't made that weight in what's it been, 2-3 years?
By the time next year gets here, it definitely will be. He's not too keen on fighting Lewis Crocker. He wants the green and gold, but he might be able to get Crocker in the ring before he gets Barrios in the ring. Barrios is still with the PBC after all.
Barrios doesn't seem as enthused about a Conor Benn fight as Lewis Crocker does. Lewis Crocker, who called out Conor Benn immediately after his win over Paddy Donovan. That fight might be easier to make.
That fight might be Conor's easiest path to a title. You can always circle back for the WBC.
Just a suggestion, because there's a reason Eddie brought him up.